Segregation was widely accepted throughout America. White people thought they were superior to other races. Some of these races were Asian, Mongolian, Hispanic, and mainly black. Hispanics weren't allowed to eat in the same restaurant, use the same bathroom, or even water fountain. They also couldn't use the same pool as white people. In this documentary, I will talk about the segregation in schools in California and how a 9-year-old girl helped desegregate schools and how she and her family set the foundation to the more infamous case Brown versus Board thesis. Sylvia Mendez, the daughter of Felicitas and Gonzalo Mendez. When she was just 9 years old, she got rejected by Westminster Elementary School. Her father, enraged, went to different school districts in Orange County, and they all said the same. He gathered 4 other families to challenge the desegregation of their Mexican American children. The families eventually won the case, which outlawed the segregation. This case eventually led to the whole California state to desegregate. This case would set the stage for the Brown versus Board case almost 10 years later. When the time came for 9-year-old Sylvia to try to enroll in a white-only school, Westminster Elementary rejected her as well as her brother. Her dad, furious, decided to investigate and sue Orange County because he and his wife gave up their education to help their family with money, and now they wanted their kids to have the education that they had been denied.
In front of the white school, this beautiful manicured lawn school with palm trees and a wonderful playground right there in the front.
Gonzalo had a sister that was named Sally. Sally had married a Mexican that was part French. That gave her the last name, the daughter. Their kids had very light skin compared to Sylvia. Gonzalo Mendez was an immigrant from Mexico that had a successful agricultural business. And Felicitas was a native of Juncos, Puerto Rico. They both wanted their kids to be successful and live a better life than the one that they were living right now. The situation to court. The attorney he chose was David Marcus. David had already experienced working with cases involving Mexicans being pushed aside. He represented the Mendez family as well as the other 4 families that were involved in the case. David was a Jewish that married a Mexican woman. That allowed him to learn Spanish very, very quickly. That was a major obstacle to overcome in his job. Since he was working with Mexicans, he needed a form to communicate, and his home language wasn't new. So, he learned Spanish, which helped him greatly in his job. Because, how would he communicate with them? After he learned Spanish, he decided to help Mexicans. This picture is a petition signed to desegregate schools by Gonzalo and the other families. When Gonzalo's sister, Sally, took her kids as well as Sylvia and her brother to enroll in Westminster Elementary School, Sylvia and her brother were denied education there due to their skin color, but mainly because they were Mexican. However, Sally's children were accepted to Westminster Elementary School because Sally was married to a man that was part French and part Mexican. That result made her last name as well as her kids' last name, the daughter. And so the kids had a very light skin compared to Sylvia. They also had a different last name than her. Sally did not take the offer. She marched the kids back to their house and she told Gonzalo all about it. He told Sally not to worry and he would talk to the principal. Gonzalo went to talk to the principal of 17th Street Elementary School, also known as Westminster Elementary. The principal denied education to the children. Why? Because they were Mexican. The next day, he went to talk to the superintendent. Same thing, no education for the children because they're Mexicans. He later went to talk to the Orange County School Board. There, he was informed that 4 different school districts decided to build separate schools for Mexicans, and that their children needed to attend the Mexican schools. Like I said before, Gonzalo and Felicitas abandoned education to help their families. Now, they wanted to give their kids the education that they never had. so they could be successful and prosper. Gonzalo Mendez got together with four other Mexican American fathers: Thomas Estrada, William Guzman, Frank Palomino, and Lorenzo Ramirez. Together, they challenged the practice of Mexican segregation in the Central District of California and Los Angeles. The Mendez family decided to pay for everything. They paid the attorney and the days off work that the other families lost. In the court, David Marquez, the attorney, decided to implement social evidence. He said that it was unconstitutional to separate Mexican children, or any children, and that it violated the 14th Amendment. Westminster Elementary had a defense of this. They said that Mexican children would need more help than white people. Why? Simply due to the fact that they didn't know English. And also, they stated that they were mentally retarded and that they would need a lot of time to learn English, and that the Mexican school offered all that help. But the thing was that in the Mexican schools, children weren't taught any academics. Girls were taught how to quilt, sew, cook, wash clothes, etc. While boys, on the other hand, were taught how to work. They were taught agricultural working, they were taught carpentry, things like that. Judge Paul J. McCormick voted in favor of the Mendez family and outlawed segregation in Orange County. This resulted in later the governor of California desegregating every single school in California. This was one of the first battles won about desegregating different races. Gonzalo and Felicitas Mendez versus the Westminster School District. Lorenzo and Josefina Ramirez versus El Modena School District. Thomas and Mary Louise Estrada versus Santa Ana School District. William and Virginia Guzman versus the Santa Ana School District. Frank and Irene Palomino versus Garden Grove School District.
For me, when I was very young, and what they did was they wanted me to know that I was an individual, and I was just, that we're all individuals, that we're all human beings, and that we're all connected together, and that we all have the same rights, the same freedom.
You may ask yourself, what does Sylvia Mendez do now? Sylvia goes around the country to schools, universities, libraries, and other places to talk about the Mendez vs. Westminster Elementary case. So, in 2011, former President Obama awarded her the Presidential Medal of Freedom. When she received that, she thought that this medal isn't for me, this medal belongs to my parents. When Sylvia's mother was sick, she told Sylvia, you need to tell people about this. You need to tell about the fight. You need to tell people what we did. Sylvia then realized that her parents didn't just fight for her and the other kids. They fought for every single kid in the world. I chose this theme because it fit well in our debate and democracy team this year. Another reason was because I wanted to do something about my culture, which was Hispanic. So when I found this case, I thought, this is the case that I want to learn about and educate more people about. While researching this case, I learned a lot of things. One of the biggest things I learned was that the Mendez family set the foundation for the Brown versus Ford case. And I asked some of my teachers, some of my peers, and they actually didn't know that. So that was really fascinating to learn. Thank you.